have some thumbs up from a steel glass, and I often
Okay.
get a lot of flack from my some of my friends. They'll say, "Oh, you shouldn't have that. That's so lowbrow. That's so unsophisticated." But I don't know why it just feels better like that instead of having in steel glass. I guess old habits die hard, and that is the
Yes.
reason.
Yes. Yes. Can I get my seat for me?
Sure, yeah, please.
Okay. I'm just back.
All right. So I'm very delighted to see you again, Pramila. I think our conversation in the last class was cut short a little unceremoniously because
Yes. Yes.
I was harping on something I remember, but the platform disconnected our call at the exact designated time. So
But
I'm very glad to see you.
so like we can extend it to some 2-3 minutes. I
So
have some videos
yeah, so
with
25 minutes
29
is the
minutes and
limit, right?
28. Yeah,
25
25
minutes
is
is the
the
yeah, how
design
it should
time.
be.
Yes,
And within 30
designated
minutes
time.
it cancels. So we had exceeded our
Yes.
30 mark last time.
Okay.
Ah. So I might have
Okay.
joined a little late, so it must have been 28 minutes or something. Sometimes I
Hmm.
if I have to finish other sessions, then I arrive a little bit, 1 minute or 2 minute late to the session, which is very
Hmm.
acceptable.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, we did exceed our time limit of 25 minutes. Okay. The
Hmm.
30-minute mark, the platform will disconnect that. So how has your
Hmm.
day been shaping up so far?
So today it was bit relaxing. I
Really?
was at home. It was an off day for me, and nothing much. Like there was no some big task that I need to entertain or complete. So I finish my daily chores and or morning errands that we have to attend, like preparing breakfast and then lunch. I was little bit relaxed this today, and it was lucky for me that I could have 1 hour sleep in the noon, like siesta. I had siesta after having my lunch today,
Mm.
so I felt that uh, like I was reboosted with full energy. I felt energetic after having that. Then I took a session uh, for my learners. I have two friends. They are from one is from Nepal and one is from Kolkata. So they are very kind and very loving ladies. So after that session, I again was busy with some my household chores, folding laundry or ironing clothes. Then before this session, I was watering my plants in the balcony, attending my plants.
Mm. So you accomplished quite a few things today. No, even
Yes, but many things were in the bucket list. I couldn't go outside. I don't prefer to travel on holidays. I love to stay at my home.
same here. I think you are a
But
kindred
I
spirit.
have a plan. I have a plan to dine out in the evening with my
To
husband and my kid. Dine out.
dine out. Okay, okay, dine out.
Yes.
I heard something very different. Okay, I'll just
Dying. You might have caught dying.
yeah, and that really caught me off guard. But anyhow, yeah, that's very nice. Even okay, so you use the expression bucket list. Okay, so do you know
Uh-huh.
what the origins of the expression are? Where does bucket list come? Or could you just
Maybe
explain
from
it to me what a
China.
bucket list
I think it was in China. From China. Maybe.
Not really. It comes from another idiom, really. Okay. So
Okay.
explain to me what bucket list means to you.
Bucket list mean list of or like okay, I would like to state one idiom here. Ducks in a row. Ducks
Oh,
in a row means you are organizing and scheduling the task, making a timetable. So
sure.
same way, bucket list means you have planned many things and some for a day or a week, like things you have in your mind to embark on them or to plan to accomplish them.
So a bucket list is a little bit different. What it speaks about is a little bit different than the other expression that you used, ducks in a row, for example. Have you ever
Okay.
heard of the idiom kicking the bucket?
Kicking the bucket. Yes, that is like related to like somebody passed away.
Yes, somebody passing away. And a bucket list is basically a list that you make before you kick the bucket. and that is why it is called a bucket
Oh,
list. So it's a list of
okay.
all those important things that you
Before
don't want
dying.
to miss out. Yes, before you
Oh
die,
my God.
before your ticker runs out, so you want to
Okay.
accomplish something. So those things are much more important things, many things which you know, which you probably would not engage it in a daily basis, right? So
Okay,
things
we
that
should
you
not
want
use
to
this
accomplish.
idiom in our daily life. That means.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh, oh.
that is what the entirety of
So,
my point there, right? So just in
okay.
a
So that you mean to say that, like, if we are using bucket list, it is a negative expression
it's not exactly a negative expression. It's things that you want to do before you die, and
before you
unimportant
die. Okay.
before you die, right? So it has to have some very important things in there, right? Some very lofty
Okay,
ambition.
like some you have some most awaited targets to be completed.
Yeah,
Like I
yes,
want to have a world tour before I kick off the
yes,
bucket. Like
yes. So those would
okay,
make
okay,
it on your
okay,
bucket list, right? Watering your plants
okay.
would not actually make it on your
No, 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 no.
So that is why I pointed out. Another thing
Okay.
was, I have you ever heard the expression shaking off the cobwebs?
But I don't know exact like meaning. Shaking off means trembling, and cobweb is web of
Right.
right.
So this expression I'm going to use for myself because you spoke about a siesta today. So even I, although I did not receive that Ambedkar Jayanti holiday today, but I did have a little bit of free time available to me. So I did have some available time free.
We are lucky enough because we are working in Delhi. We celebrate every occasion, every
Oh,
famous personality's birthday and anniversaries or death or whatever important things that are for meant for Indian history.
my father works in a government office and he received an off day today. The thing about me is that I am a freelance educator, and most of the places that I teach in, they are institutes. Like they're not
Okay.
really schools; they are institutes. So, and they basically what they do is they take in students for NET preparation from IT preparation, and simultaneously they give them training for class 11th and 12th. Right? They teach them class 11th and 12th. So these places not always adhere to the policies that are
Hmm.
observed by state governments or national governments. So that is the reason. Actually, it's not to do with the geographical disparity between us. Even my father
Nahi.
enjoyed a holiday today, but
Actually,
yeah,
I'm a government employee now, so I enjoy that privilege.
yeah. So that is the difference. That is what makes the difference. So my shaking of the cobwebs, right? So when you wake up from a nap, for example, or if you wake up in the morning, you still feel a little bit drowsy, you still feel a little bit disoriented and groggy, right? So that state of mind can be described as shaking of the cobwebs, which is the case with
Like
me
it
right
is a state of your body, like we can say
now. Yes, it has most to do with your mind, I would say. Still,
mind. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
because the mind controls the body, and your mind has not rejuvenated all of its mental acuity yet, right? After waking
Mm-hmm.
up, it hasn't gathered all the information, it hasn't started to perform on 100% productivity, and that is
Yes,
why you
yes.
don't feel as if your mind is running. You also require some stimulants like tea and
So
coffee.
how can we use this in a sentence?
So if you are, for example, I am in that state right now. I just woke up from a nap and it's very pleasant weather outside. So I could say I'm shaking off the cobwebs right now. Okay.
I am or I was shaking. I
If
was.
if you're talking about the past, if it happened to you in the past, you can obviously use I
Like
was.
if I am narrating to somebody, so I'm going to state that I was shaking that time. Like
If it is happening to you right now, you can use the present tense. No
okay,
issue.
if I am talking to myself,
No, if you're
if
talking to
I
anybody else also, but you are experiencing that state of mind right now. You just woke up from a nap.
okay, I am shaking. I'm talking to somebody. I'm having a conversation with someone, and I'm telling I just wake up and I am shaking.
Off
What do you
the
said?
cobweb.
Shaking off cobweb. Okay.
Yes. I'm writing it down in your chat window, right? Can you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it?
yeah. I will just take
Just
a screenshot.
yeah, you just add I am, and there
Haha.
you have it. You have a sentence where you can use it.
Can you write yesterday's or day before what was familiarity attracts or what
Breathes.
was that breeds familiarity breeds uh, I forget the
Yep.
next word contempt.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess enough pleasantries we have exchanged at this point. We would soon again be short on time if we don't proceed with our session notes for today, right? So let us delve into
Oh,
that.
no need to for session. You just have a view overview of that session notes if you can discuss. Because like I want to know that if I'm teaching somebody, or if this is the my last session with English Yari, and of course with you, so should I continue further, or what are your suggestion for that, for practicing? Like I want spoken English practice.
See, in my humble opinion, what I see is that you don't require a lot of assistance, first of all. Okay, with your basic English, you have very impressive cadence, you have good vocabulary also. But the points that you mentioned in the last class, you said that you need somebody who's a little bit better than you at conversation,
Yes, yes,
and you
yes,
need to
yes.
have that interaction with them on a daily basis to really make yourself shine, right? To
Hmm.
really make that all those passive all those words in your passive vocabulary come to the forefront of your mind, so that it is easily accessible to you and you're able to utilize them during conversation.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
because you mentioned it only in the previous class, right, so it would behoove me to assume that this task has not been accomplished so far, right? So in that sense, I would say that, you know, just two sessions would not cut it, would not cut the mustard if you really want that to happen. So I would definitely suggest that you renew your subscription, and daily you meet with some tutors like me, at least on a daily basis, for another month or two, until you
But
feel
sir,
confident enough.
I would like to inform you that yesterday also I booked a session with you. It was
Oh,
like
that
around six
I am
thirty or
sorry.
seven.
I had to cancel that session. So the
Okay.
platform had nothing to do with it. I had to cancel that session. Sometimes, contingencies arise which are unavoidable.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. Hmm.
yesterday was one such event. So I had to cancel. Actually, I had to cancel all of my sessions yesterday.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So,
Forgiven. Forgiven. You are forgiven.
okay. So yeah, you were saying that we were talking about whether the necessity of you continue uh, on the platform is imminent or not. So, in a
Yes.
strict sense, as your friend, I would say not really. Okay, because what you are doing for your professional purposes, that's more than enough, I would assume. Okay, in my
Hmm. Hmm.
humble
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
sense, I would assume the chops that you have of communication are enough for you to tackle your professional obligations.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this
Yes.
self betterment thing that you are
Self. Hmm.
pursuing, right? So you want to still elevate your standard of communication. The perfection by design is unachievable, right? So you can't give it a benchmark. You can't give it a threshold that I'll go till here and then I'll become perfect, and then I'll then I don't want to learn anymore. I wouldn't have to study anymore. Nothing like that really happens, right, in real life. So in real life, all you can really expect is to polish your skill more and more with every passing day. Add increments of knowledge, right, to your database. And if you want to pursue that, then of course I would strongly suggest that you continue. So I'm not
Okay.
giving you, you might think I'm giving you an ambiguous answer, but that is the
No.
most honest answer that I can give you. Okay.
Okay,
For
okay.
your
No, I'm
professional
aware of that.
obligations, I don't think it
For
applies.
professional, yes. For my professional need, I am well equipped with my all the skills. But
Hmm.
for my personal growth, I should go for.
Yeah, because you communicated that desire, right?
Hmm.
You saw me speak. It lit a spark in you somewhere. That it gave you another benchmark, I would say. You use very fine words to describe my style of speech, and that generally that only happens when a learner looks up to you, right? And he wants to attain that same level of expertise. So I'm sure that that desire is there inside, and if you want to pursue
Definitely.
that desire, then
Definitely.
yeah. So if you want to pursue that desire, then you have to resubscribe. Okay.
Okay. Can you
Obviously, the
give
ultimate goal.
five suggestion, five very true suggestion that a learner, like
Mhm.
who is a lover of English lover, a language lover, should have to enhance their or hone their skills? Five suggestions they should do every day.
They should do every day. First of all, they should at least speak for 1.5 hours every day. They should, and preferably with a person who can really, uh, spark their curiosity, spark their creativity also, and like give them some pointers as well, somebody that you can learn from, right?
Mhm.
Preferably. But if not otherwise, then with whomever would basically do for this particular purpose. Apart from that, as I mentioned in the previous session also, you should be maintaining a glossary at all times. We have become very easy going with our learning process
Yes, that
nowadays
we
because of,
understand everything, but we are not recalling the words. Like there is a fear of missing out. We know everything, but we are not using it in our conversation. So that for that purpose, we need glossary.
yeah, and you need like if you write down some piece of information, it gets reinforced in your mind even deeper. It gets
Yes,
ingrained in your
yes.
mind deeper, and then if you revise it a couple of times, many times it happens to me. Like I forget that this is a good word, that I could have used in this situation. I know the word, but it does not really occur to me at all times. Very simple words. Like a few days ago, I heard the word brazen. Okay, so
Brazil. Hmm.
so a word like outlandish or blatant, it comes to my mind when I'm trying to use a word like brazen, right? But that particular word had slipped from my memory really, and it basically reignited something. Okay, this is a wonderful word to be used when talking about, for example, police brutality, right?
Dressing sense. Nee, but sir, actually, outlandish is used for describing some person who is dressed in weird condition, or he is more than a fashion fiesta. Outlandish
Outlandish is basically, yeah, it can be used in that sense also. You are particularly correct. Regarding some person's dressing style also, they
appearance.
use,
Yeah, dressing
yeah,
style.
but it can be used for general demeanor as well. Something
Okay,
unexpected if you do, right? Something if
okay.
outside the bounds of expectance, if you commit, then it can be considered outlandish also. Okay, and the other word was more exact, blatant, right? Blatant is, or overt, I should say. Overt is a good word to replace for brazen, right? So when talking about, I often have conversations about the outreach of or the abuse of power by police. Okay, it's a I wouldn't say it's a hot topic, but it's a very relatable topic for Indians everywhere, because they don't have,
Hmm.
Indians don't have a lot of faith in the proceedings of the uh, law administration, law enforcement agencies. And which is why, so sometimes I was speaking on this topic a few days earlier, I remember that, oh, I could have used this word there. So when you come across these words, but then you forget also after a while. I remember recalling when I was lying in my bed last night, so I heard an expression. I was watching some cartoon made for adults, but it was a cartoon show, American Dad.
Animated. Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I heard an expression that sounded really cool to me, and I thought I should write it down, but I was too lazy, okay, to get up and write it in my glossary. So I made a mental note of it. Okay, this is yes. Tomorrow when I wake up, I'll do that. But by the time I woke up, it has completely been erased from my memory. Now, no matter how much I try to recall that piece of information, it isn't just coming out. So
Okay,
yeah, you have to do that, I guess. And I maintain,
okay.
for example, even idioms. If you check the resources on web, for example, different websites will give you a lot of workplace idioms, a lot of different idioms, hundreds and hundreds of them.
Sort.
But still, I find out some idioms missing from them. Some commonplace
Okay.
American idioms, for example, which are not mentioned in books, which are not mentioned in web resources also, in a lot of the
Then how you
websites.
come to know how you come to know those idioms and how
So
you learn them?
I immerse myself a little in my spare time in English content. Okay, I watch educational content on YouTube. As I said, I watch a few um, shows for recreation as well, right?
Okay.
So American produced shows, sometimes especially comedy ones, right? And animated ones are even better, I would say, because in that regard, because they don't have much going on in terms of the visuals. Okay, so they really
Mm-hmm.
try their very best with the dialogues. Okay,
Yes,
so the
yes.
dialogues are often always very finely crafted. So yeah, whenever I hear that, you have to immerse yourself a little bit. You watch some TV shows, watch some podcasts, and so. But yeah, try to prefer podcasts or shows created by Americans or British people, because
Okay.
I'm not saying
Native
that,
speakers.
yeah, because they are much more likely. They have a higher
Yes.
odd of utilizing these idioms, which are common over there, but are kind of unheard over here. Not very like
Hmm.
it's very
Can you
esoteric.
name some?
Name some idioms like that. What were you saying?
Sorry, can you name some web series or podcasts you love to watch regarding this?
Okay, I don't watch a lot of podcasts. Okay, but I sometimes watch Joe Rogan. Sometimes. Okay, it's not always
Okay.
very. Some if Joe has some very renowned, some very distinguished guest on his podcast, then I do watch it. For example, Neil deGrasse Tyson is one of my favorite educators, science educators. So when he was
Hmm.
on, I watched that show in entirety, in its entirety. Okay, like every show is like 2 or 3 hours, so I wouldn't suggest you watching
Okay.
shows podcasts for that long. So apart from that, I watch a lot of BBC documentaries, BBC nature documentaries. Okay, so they
Okay.
also give me a lot of very good. For example, instead of saying fearless, when
Okay.
I watched Richard Attenborough, he uses the word intrepid. So
Okay.
I remember making that connection. Okay, no, like you can say courageous, you can say fearless, but intrepid has a different ring to it, right? So when he's
Hmm.
talking about some migrant birds or migrant animals or anything like that. So I watch BBC first of all. The next is PBS. PBS is Public Broadcasting Service. It is a German governmental agency, and it
So can
offers
you name these things in this chat box so that I can take a screenshot?
definitely. So the first one is BBC. BBC has a wide variety of shows, okay, which are available to you for free on YouTube. And the other such channel, which has again a wide variety of useful educational information available in very bite-sized episodes, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, talking about my favorite subjects. For example, are evolutionary biology, cosmology, okay, and sometimes geopolitics, also global history as well. So these are the topics that I try to explore in my free time, right?
So
And
are these available on YouTube or we need some?
they are available. They are most of their resources are available on YouTube for free because they
Okay.
tend to disseminate information. They really,
Okay.
I think these agencies prioritize democratizing information. So which is
Okay.
why
Okay.
almost like NASA, NASA captures any images, it always produces them or publishes them on its websites. So these
Yes. Yes.
websites, these institutions are also the same. Okay, and if you're okay about a show, so
Hmm.
again, I watch a show. The one that I mentioned was American Dad. Okay,
Okay.
it's a
American Dad.
funny, yeah, it's a funny comedy show, a cartoon show about a very upright individual, a very model American father, and he has some very atypical people in his family. Okay,
Okay.
and all of the escapades that they engage in, all of the mischievousness that goes on in the household, it creates for a lot of fancy humor. Okay, so
Okay.
this is a show that I can recommend. Apart from that, if you are interested, there is another show like that. Have you ever watched Big Bang Theory?
N- No. No. Not exactly.
Okay, so I'll give you a plethora of different uh,
Okay.
uh, suggestions. You can choose and pick from them. Okay, you can try a few episodes of each a little bit, and then you can tell me how much you enjoyed them, or if you prefer some particular aspect of them, but you need something.
But like,
Okay.
sir, I would like to say, is there any provision that we can pause them and write the things, write the idioms and glossary from those episodes?
You will hear a few of them now and then, right? And your own mental readiness of your mind, right? That will behoove
Hmm.
you to open the diary and write it down. The glossary you'll have to maintain will be your own creation, right?
Okay.
So, like I have my own creation. I have a list of idioms. I have a list of, and it's running around. The idioms list is running around 4 or 5 pages. So I've accumulated
Four,
a lot,
five.
4 or 5 pages.
Okay.
So they have at least like 50, 60 idioms are there at least. Okay.
So when you are going to
Words,
publish that?
I'm never going to publish it. I think it's a hidden weapon in my arsenal that I'm not going to reveal to
Oh,
people very readily.
no, you
So
should
yeah,
share with your learners.
maybe, maybe. but that's another can of worms, you know. Publishing,
Oh,
writing books and everything. That is, I don't know if I'm capable of doing that or not. Like being able to devote that much time or not. But yeah, it helps me out in my conversation, right? Because I get to use some esoteric expressions, some less known, you know, expressions, and they definitely elevate the standard of my communication. They spark wonder and creativity in the learner as well. He also becomes interested. What are you talking about? For example, previously I heard this expression. It's no skin of my nose.
okay. Please write this in chat box.
Sure. So this is an expression even the most hardened veterans of the platform will not be able to answer what this means. Okay,
Yes,
because I
yes,
asked
yes.
one of them. There is a very astute learner of mine. He hails from
Hmm.
Gujarat. He had like, exceptional command on English, and he always utilizes a lot of idioms, a lot of very fine vocabulary words also. So I
So, what
asked
does
him.
it mean? First, you give me the meaning before
Okay,
this
the
session
meaning is
wraps.
it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. If you have heard of the word nonchalant, right?
Nonchalant. Hmm.
So this is like you are dispassionate about something. This is to a degree of insensitivity also, you could say, like
Okay,
you are
okay, okay. Yeah.
disinterested in something, or what is the indifferent. I guess the exact word is you are indifferent.
Insensitive, indifferent, insensitive. Yes.
Yeah. So if you have a nonchalant attitude about some piece of
Okay.
information or some event happening around you, then you can say it's no skin off my nose. For example, if you are a very wealthy patron, if you are a very opulent individual, you come from a family of means, and you know our finance minister comes up with a new tax bracket for rich people. So that means that you